Like I think last week, a car was coming from this other side, and he was on a high speed, and I think he didn't have to look at the traffic guy controlling the traffic. If not, he would have had to control himself. He had to somersault severally, and then he had to almost kill a girl that works here with Armac. And then if not that she ran for her life, it would have been a very sorry situation.
Actually, they see the traffic, even though they are stopping there, they don't even bloody care to stop. And they cause a lot of accidents, especially this place they call AP side, especially this Diamond Junction, the way they speed. I want even the traffic people to be, they have been trying their best. Every day we have been seeing accidents. I know the way they drive, they let them calm down. Especially if you're on the highway, you have to calm down to make use of the traffic. Like I say, 1 hour, every hour, the accident be happening this Diamond Junction. I don't know whether the government can be able to take a more effort for this Diamond Junction because the accident is mostly. Every day we go for the accident to pick people to hospital. Sometimes we run away from our duty posts here, go and pick people to rush them to hospital. So the thing we have tired. I want government to try their best for this Diamond Junction accident.
For them to actually observe these rules, you understand, as in so as to avoid any form of unnecessary challenges. In as much as you guys are in the car and some people are using their leg to trek, so endeavor to respect them as well. They are not lesser than you people when they are walking. You are not bigger than them when you are driving. So everybody have his or her own role to play. So and drivers just endeavor to observe all traffic rules and most importantly, the pedestrian crossing.
The problem of people, everybody is in a hurry. Nobody wants to give traffic rules. That's the major problem. People not learn how to drive before they drive. So many people see motor, they jump in because they can be able to buy motor. They don't know the rules and regulations of the road. They don't know what's marked on the road, what it means. So that's why you see a lot of accidents happening every time. Impatience is the major thing.
That smoke means, so they should. I advise them not to smoke, and those that are used to smoke in the car, I know there are some passengers that smokes in the car. They are not supposed to smoke because it may cause fire outbreak anywhere, and the driver should be very, very careful because human life is very, very important.
The drivers, we have to be cultured, mannered, observe strictly the road sign, and also obey the traffic law to save others and save you as well. Thus, I have it that they should behave themselves. And another thing is this alcohol or drug should be avoided by a well-meaning driver who wants to save his life and save others. Recklessness brings death. And if you are careful, you live long. But if you are reckless, that can terminate your life anytime.
The roads are good and smooth, but the structures need to be maintained for safer roads. Maintaining the structures is essential for the safety of its users. Now let's move to some other parts in the capital city and see the situation there in terms of enforcement. Is the story same?
It's fair to say that every megacity has traffic. Some say the demand for road space is greater than the supply, but this cannot be true for all traffic carnage on the road. In Abuja, for instance, the cause of traffic congestion is far from lack of good road network. Instead, the issue tends to stem from indiscipline of road users, lack of patience, and disregard for the road traffic enforcement agents. This used to be the case at the Area 1 underbridge in Abuja. Area 1 underbridge is strategic for many commuters as one can easily connect to different locations within and outside Abuja. However, safety was an issue for commuters as criminals began to take advantage of the gridlock to rob vehicle passengers. As a result, commuters were often subjected to extra charges to secure a taxi along this route.
I think I've actually had an experience on my own once with my brother. We were coming back around the other side and we were stopped by some thugs, and they actually wanted to collect our stuff. But thankfully, I think at that particular time they were trying to do that. We had some friends coming in, so they were not able to do it. That's like a common occurrence here at that particular time. Before, it's even a common occurrence. You just come around there. Sometimes you find the dead body here, like in the evening, before they come to evacuate and all of that. The traffic situation is something else. Honestly, it's something else. Before, if you are going to work for a journey that probably will take you 15-20 minutes, you actually need to take like about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. So if you really need to get to the office early, you need to wake up earlier.
Today, VIO and Abuja Environmental Task Force are placed at strategic positions to improve traffic flow by controlling vehicle movements.
Yeah, when we came in, look at the situation, we decided that we should go and take some tires together with our colleague brothers, those in the environmental. We line up all these tires and make sure nobody, if you cross here, will book you or will keep your vehicle for some time. And you know, when you keep your motor for some time, you may not be able to get one or two things in a day. And that's why, and they're complying. The union also are supporting us. There's no problem. The police also working, the road safety, we are all doing a nice job here, you can see. But the VIO will be here till 9 p.m. every evening. We start from 2, work till 9. And those that will be in the morning will start from 7 and close by 2. So they have no problem. You can see everywhere is moving smoothly. The motorists are happy. People are talking good of us.
But some people are not happy with the decision of the enforcement agents here.
I really don't know why they are here, and then it's so terrible for us. Like, there's still traffic still, and then we can't get cabs on time. So I really don't know why they are here and why they are stopping taxis from staying here. Like, I literally have to stand for about an hour to get a taxi, when I would literally just stand here for like 10 minutes and I get a taxi home.
People must obey the law. It's not our intention to arrest people. If you do illegally, we'll show you illegally. The government will take you and take you to mobile court and you penalize. So our concern is that people must obey the law. This government is making sure that life is normal for all of us. And I want to encourage our motorists to obey the law so there will be no problem.
Many who used to ply this route recognize the positive changes here, but only time will tell if this new normal will be sustained.
Building roads with the necessary structures makes safer roads. Driving on a road without guide makes the road unsafe. Now to Lagos State, the center of excellence with high vehicular activities. How are the road decorations there in Lagos State?
An expert in the field of mind-blowing healing, Deepa Chopra, quoted that the goals of all goals is happiness, and our emotions are like road signs on that journey towards the goal of happiness. Talking about road signs and markings on the road which help to maintain safe driving and protect pedestrians' safety. There are different road signs and symbols that pass different information to a driver and pedestrians. How well do they know the signs?
Either police day, police no day. When you see the light is on, then you stop. After that, you can move.
Actually, what do I understand on the roadside as like the crossing of there are supposed to be a pedestrian bridge here. You understand? You know, like the traffic light here now, there are some people, if they want to cross the road, they have to look the left and the right before they cross. But some, they don't look. Why the Okada will be coming? Before you see, we had an accident that Okada is coming through one way to meet somewhere that was coming.
I know the green light is for go, the red is for stop, and the yellow is for get ready.
Despite the road signs placed along roadways to warn and guide drivers on how to use the road safely, there are still high number of serious car accidents recorded across the country every day.
It's very important because without traffic signs, there is going to be chaos. People running into each other, make orderliness on the road. People to know.
It is pertinent for every driver to understand the road signs right from the point of their driving lessons before they acquire a driver's license. This will go a long way in ensuring safety on roads.
They are not properly oriented about traffic rules in Nigeria.
Relatively to aid safety on roads, there are also road furnitures that provides drivers with the necessary warnings, rules, and directive information in order to have safe roads. Nevertheless, some roads lack availability of road furnitures. Therefore, for safety on our roads, there is a need for road users to understand road signs and abide to the rules. While the Federal Road Safety Commission and road development agencies should issue a priority and help reverse the trend of absence of road furniture in Nigeria.
Lagos metropolitan area, with a total population of 21.3 million and the fourth highest gross domestic product in Africa, is the commercial nerve center of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It is not surprising then that such volume of economic activities in Lagos carry with it heavy vehicular movement, as over 1.6 million vehicles ply Lagos roads daily, thus putting a lot of pressure on traffic law enforcement agents. Despite the heavy presence of traffic officers on Lagos roads, many Lagosians believe the traffic situation could be better.
I think the last mile people are not living up to their responsibilities. They are not, because especially the ones in Obalende here, I don't think they are really doing enough, because you can see them, they are here now. You can see buses parking when they are not supposed to park and taking passengers, and they are just watching, maybe because they do give them some tips. That's why they are not really doing what they are supposed to be doing.
Lagos State traffic is very hectic. And what I see there is that a lot of congestion in so many places. And what I see that have really caused it is the construction of roads in some places, and whereby they don't finish it, they block the road, and sometimes those people, they don't work at night.
These short bus, they go and take behind. They do much for that runabout. You understand? And they stay for runabout and load. If they are not full, they will not move. So that's what causes the traffic.
It therefore evokes a feeling of sadness when commercial vehicle operators especially seem to get away with blatant disregard for laid down laws of road use, thereby creating chaotic traffic situation and making nonsense of the efforts of the many traffic enforcers on our roads.
If you ask if we are really enforcing the law, what did I enforce when I arrested 15,000 people in 3 months in just a state? And we are talking of a state that has close to 2.5 million vehicles. So, even if I stay on the road, I have to, while I'm arresting one, so many other offenders are going. The theory of enforcement is what we should appreciate as a nation. Even if police will need to arrest an armed robber, they cannot. It's not a science, a rocket science. You have to attend to one person per time. That's why we know, in the course of creating sanity on our roads, enforcement can only take care of 10%. What takes care of major bulk of solving the problem is advocacy and stakeholders' involvement.
While some parts of Lagos roads are bad with potholes, forcing drivers to change lanes, thus contributing to traffic congestion, some other portions are under construction, forcing drivers to slow down and drive too close to one another. With this state of affairs, all road users need to take responsibility to ensure safety.
If you know where we are coming from, the days of saying Lagos driver, in those days when they say Lagos driver, it's synonymous to irresponsibility. because it's believed that anybody they call a Lagos driver is a reckless driver. But the scenario has changed now. We have discipline all over, and you agree with me, compared to what it was about 2-3 months ago, things are getting better. And remember the fact that the state is doing a lot of work too as regards rehabilitation of roads. So when there are these gridlocks that are beyond human control because of the roads construction that is going on and the impatience of the drivers, definitely you know there will be skirmishes here and there. And these are the things that the agencies are trying to manage. They are working day and night, but there's nothing you can achieve without the cooperation of the road users.
Suffice it to say that road safety is not the sole responsibility of traffic agents. All Lagos residents must take responsibility and ensure all traffic rules are obeyed with patience. With this done, Lagos traffic situation will gradually improve.
Let's all play our part as we use the road. And this is hoping officials concerned do the needful for the safety of all. This concludes the episode this week. You can send a mail to roadmatters@nta.ng. Until the next episode, I am Fatima Umar. Making our roads safe is a responsibility of all. And as you drive, remember to drive to live. Bye-bye.
I never get this kind of thing, or I hear it. Abuja Intraprovince Agency then called me because we are partner with them. They say we should come. There is a survivor fund that the government wanted to give technicians.
They capture everybody, including food seller in my own workshop.
When my chairman called me that there is parity something, that I should come and take my cash off, the money now come, and that money helped me a lot. As a widow, where there is no husband. So it's this thing that I used to help myself, and that money helped me and pay some of my children's school fees.
You don't reach almost 40-something years back where I did for this Nigeria. I never get this kind of thing, or I hear it.
It is only this government, President Muhammadu Buhari, likewise in Vice, that he recognized a mechanic.
NTA, you can't beat the reach.
NTA Tuesday Live, analytical, in-depth, educative and interactive on national issues accommodating all sides of opinions.
We as a people have understood that we have to fight corruption before it fights us back.
Poverty has a financial index, so it should be fought also with a financial weapon. Give it to the social investments program. It has been a very courageous battle.
Tuesday Live, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. Join us.
Technology, the mother of all inventions, has influenced various aspects of human existence that in numerous difficulties has been brought to the barest level. Travel as a form of communication has been made simple through the invention of the motor car, which can travel 7 miles in a very short time. Due to various irregularities on the roads like potholes, careless driving, overspeeding, and a host of others, the chances of motor cars getting involved in accidents cannot be overlooked. As such, devices like the seatbelt and airbags have been made.
Basically, airbags are meant to serve as security for lives and property in our vehicles.
The motor car airbags are safety devices or features designed to protect passengers and drivers in a head-on collision. The question begging for an answer, therefore, is how many car buyers take time to check the cars for airbags when they are purchasing one?
And like we car dealers now, if we are going to buy a car, we are buying the one that has a airbag because people are going through what is raining.
About an airbag in a car, it's supposed to be a supplementary restraint system. It's supposed to be something that helps to assist during the time of an accident, but it only works well once you have a seatbelt across your chest, or else otherwise it can be a dangerous thing in a car.
Airbags act as a cushion for passengers, thus preventing them from hitting the steering column and dashboard, which may lead to head, shoulder, or even chest injuries. The importance of safety devices in a motor car cannot be overemphasized when purchasing a car. Therefore, it is advised to thoroughly check for those devices before purchasing a car.
Information is power. Everyone wants power. So feel powerful with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U-Report link, and be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information.
Wannan labarin ma yana peji na 36.
Ita kuma babban labarin wannan jarida shine ainihin labarin da ke gaban jarida shine ta bayyana cewa
ọkwa ojii kenga eziokwu
Nwanne m nwoke
Ikechukwu Ndukwe.
Good morning and welcome to the news at 10 on NTA News 24, reaching you live on the network service of the NTA. I am Norlene Ebel Ame. Now the headlines. Presidency reacts to Guinea coup, describes incidents as clear violation of ECOWAS protocol on democracy and good governance. Reconstruction work commences immediately on eroded sections of Obajano Road, recently closed to traffic. Civil societies and MSME advocate synergy between energy key players to address challenge of inadequate power supply. Governor Lalong urges Nigerians to pray for the peace and security of Plateau State. Starting with the situation in Guinea, the latest report from there indicates that soldiers who seized power in a military coup has announced it will replace the country's civilian ministers with regional commanders. Correspondent Abdul Salam Jibril tells us more. Meanwhile, Nigeria has expressed sadness by the apparent coup that has taken place in the Republic of Guinea, describing the incidents as a clear violation of the ECOWAS Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance. In a statement by Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Nigeria strongly condemns and rejects any unconstitutional change of government and therefore calls on all those who behind the coup to restore constitutional order without delay and protect all lives and property. Similarly, African Union AU has appealed for the immediate release of Guinea President Alpha Condé and also condemned the military action against the government by special forces. President of the African Union, Felix Chekuke, and Chairman of the African Union Commission, Mostafaki Mahamat, condemned any seizure of power by force and called for the immediate release of President Alpha Condé. The Continental Body, in a statement, has therefore invited the Peace and Security Council of the African Union to meet urgently to examine the new situation in Guinea and to take appropriate measures in the circumstances. Similarly, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has noted with great concern the recent political developments which occurred in Conakry, Republic of Guinea. The organization condemned with the greatest firmness the coup attempt and demanded respect for the physical integrity of the President of the Republic, Professor Alpha Condé, and his immediate and unconditional release, as well as that of all the personalities arrested. It also demanded the return to constitutional order and reaffirmed its disapproval of any unconstitutional political change. We shall be expecting our guests to talk on this issue in this bulletin. Moving on now. A giant-sized jinx was broken recently when the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, announced a first net profit for the first time in the 44 years history of the organization under President Muhammadu Buhari, who doubles as the Minister of Petroleum Resources. Elizabeth Omori has a compilation of some groundbreaking successes recorded by the administration so far.
The presidency recently outlined some successes recorded by the administration in various sectors as a result of the pragmatic economic reforms it embarked upon. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, says a long-term jinx has been broken with the announcement of a profit of 287 billion naira by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, also signing into law the Petroleum Industry Bill after almost 2 decades. Amendment of the Deep Offshore and Inland Basin Production Sharing Contracts Act 2019. More than $6 billion of inherited cash call arrears now being cleared. Overseeing the first successful marginal fields bid round in almost 20 years. Launch of the first National Social Investment Program in the country's history. Restoration of the federal budget from a January to December cycle. The assenting to the Nigerian Center for Disease Control NCDC Act, the Police Act 2020, Nigeria Correctional Service Act 2019, and Finance Acts of 2019 and 2020, with the mandate to support federal budgets in specific reform legislation and implementation. Also, enactment of the Suppression of Piracy and Other Maritime Offences Bill 2019, the first of its kind in the entire Gulf of Guinea, dedicated to prosecuting maritime offences. The Police Trust Fund Act 2019, the first overhaul of the Company and Allied Matters Act (CAMA) in 30 years. Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Prohibition Act 2019, expansion of operation of the Treasury Single Account TSA. On projects, completion of the Takbewari Rail Line in 2020, completion of the Abuja-Kaduna, Abuja Metro, Abuja-Warri and Lagos-Ibadan rail lines. Also, completion of the NLNG train project, Train 6, in 2018, and successful flag-off of the Train 7 construction. Apapa Oshodi Oworoshoki Expressway currently undergoing full reconstruction. Bodo Boni Bridges and Road construction finally kicked off in 2017. The long-awaited Ogoni cleanup kicked off under the Buhari administration. The Zik Mausoleum was also completed in 2018.
Building a strong health system in Nigeria with increased funding will accelerate the attainment of universal health coverage by 2030. This was the resolve of stakeholders at the Forum of Health Commissioners from the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT. Basi Itaikpan reports that the Secretary to the Government of the Federation at the forum said, "Okay, I'm told we are going to join a live broadcast now. Thank you for watching."
As he will be installed as the president of the AIO as he will be 1 year on Wednesday. Congratulations. To all, I say the conference has finally come. We have not reneged on our promise to give you the best conference ever. Continue to savor the riches of Lagos, the delicacies. Enjoy yourselves. Welcome to Nigeria, the pride of Africa. Welcome to Lagos, the state of aquatic splendor. Welcome to the 47th AIO conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The chairman of the LOC, the president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces, thank you for being the first president to attend
LOC chairman for the 47th African Insurance Organization Annual Conference and General Assembly, Mrs. Ebele Chukwu Nwachukwu, just gave her opening remark where she speaks on insurance contributing to and benefiting, as well as rebuilding the African economy post-COVID. She has explained why the conference is actually taking place at this particular time of the year. This is the Nigerian Television Authority outside broadcast crew bringing to you live the 47th Annual General Conference of the African Insurance Organization.
And activities taking place all over the world. Nevertheless, she has sent her apologies and has requested me to please present this welcome address to you. So, even though you'll be hearing my voice, but the content of what I'm presenting is that of Delphine. His Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. The Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Her Excellency, Honorable Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, the Commissioner of Insurance, Mr. Sunday Olorundare Thomas, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Executive Committee members of AIO, our elders in the House, invited guests, dear delegates, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Executive Committee and members of the AIO, I wish to heartily welcome you all to this 47th Conference and Annual General Assembly of our cherished Pan-African Insurance Organization. Permit me to please express my profound gratitude to His Excellency, the President and people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Special words of recognition also go to the Nigerian Insurance Association, NIA, and the local organizing committee of this event for providing this enabling environment to the elite of Africa's insurance industry under the African Insurance Organization to meet at this 47th conference and chart a new way forward for insurance in Africa. Honorable Minister of Finance, ladies and gentlemen, it feels so good to be in Niger, as Nigeria is popularly referred to, the giant of Africa, and particularly in Lagos, the center of excellence. The last time the African insurance family converged here in Nigeria under the canopy of the AIO conference was in the year 2000 to discuss Africa in the new millennium, the role of insurance. 21 years have gone by, and here we are again in Nigeria, but the circumstances under which this conference is taking place are very peculiar. The past 2 years have indeed been very extraordinary, as a common enemy called COVID-19 possessed an indiscriminate threat to mankind. The effects of the pandemic on many economies have been disastrous, to say the least. From decreased demand, requests for premium refunds, decline in investment income, mortality increase, hardening of reinsurance rates, excess of loss rates and contracts, cyber risk, and many more. A United Nations policy brief on impact of COVID-19 in Africa, published in May 2020, indicates that the COVID-19 pandemic arrived at a moment when prospects for many African countries were promising. At the beginning of 2020, Africa was on track to continue its economic expansion, with growth projected to rise from 2.9% in 2019 to 3.2% in 2020 and 3.5% in 2021. The report further reveals that the entry into force of the African Continental Free Trade Area (AfTA) in May 2019 promised to boost intra-African trade by as much as 25% by 2040. Furthermore, Africa enjoyed some of the highest global returns on foreign direct investment. In a July 2020 study on assessing the impact of COVID-19 on Africa's economic development by Grave Conde, Associate Economic Affairs Officer, Division for Africa, lists developed countries and special programs, United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD. It is stated that COVID-19 will drag African economies into a fall of about 1.4% in GDP, with smaller economies facing contractions of up to 7.8%. The measures adopted by most countries to curtail the spread include the closing of their frontiers and partial or complete lockdowns of economies, which, among other things, have seen the temporary closure of businesses, schools, and social services. A few things we may have to cope with for a little longer on the macroeconomic and welfare effects of the COVID-19 pandemic in Africa, according to the African Development Bank Group, are the uncertainty of its future, epidemiological evolution, and the persistence of its economic disruptions. Apart from COVID-19, Africa's economy has taken a considerable shock from factors such as global financial instability, terrorism, and political risks, climate change, and much more. It was in a bid to discuss how insurance can contribute to ongoing efforts to rebuild Africa's economy that the AIO Secretariat and the local organizing committee proposed that this conference reflects on the theme, rebuilding Africa's economy and insurance perspective. In other words, what is our own contribution as insurance sector's players in mending the shattered economy of our continent? His Excellency, Honorable Minister, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the caliber of our speakers is telling of the quality of our reflections and resolutions at the end of this 47th AIO conference. The subtopics have been carefully designed to touch as many aspects as possible and propose solutions on how best we can contribute to mending our economy. I wish to extend a special word of gratitude to all our speakers for braving the odds and accepting to be our resource persons at this conference. May I equally thank you, delegates, especially those who are attending in person and even virtually, for taking such a bold step during this COVID-19 scare. His Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, ladies and gentlemen, just like any other structure worldwide, the AIO Secretariat was forced to a business slowdown by COVID-19, but this did not signify a complete shutdown. The Secretariat slowly but surely and in strict respect of prescribed barrier measures carried out the implementation of the new strategic plan of the organization adopted in 2019. Some of the several projects carried out include a virtual summit on leadership during the turbulent times, 2 capacity building trainings on bond management and conflict resolution for both English and French-speaking African countries, the production of 3 research reports under the African Insurance Pulse, the latest whose launching will take place during this conference, a greater rapprochement with other insurance organizations in Africa, as well as an increase in membership. The AIO is equally working on some projects aimed at bringing some added value to its members and make the organization the one-stop shop of insurance in Africa. This includes an integrated insurance data warehouse, AIO chartered insurance programs, AIO leadership in insurance and finance, program for Africa, and AIO insurance mortality table for Africa. On the sidelines of the 47th conference will be the holding of the AIO Live Seminar on the theme, Embracing Innovation for Insurance Inclusivity. This is also an innovation as the live seminar we henceforth hold during the AIO conference. Dear AIO members, I wish to thank you all for supporting me during my tenure as president of AIO. COVID-19 prevented us from holding the conference last year, so I was obliged to stay on for the 2nd year as AIO president upon the approval of the executive committee. The presidency will thus change at the end of this conference. May I seize this opportunity to express my profound gratitude to you, all AIO members, for lending me and the executive committee your collaboration to run the affairs of AIO very smoothly for the past 2 years. Despite the turbulent situation, I call on you to please give the incoming president, Tope Smart, your characteristic support to continue from where we ended. I wish you all a wonderful time and hope you enjoy the hospitality of Niger, the giant of Africa. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, President of the AIO. Right away, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite for our short remarks, because His Excellency, the President and CNC is hankering to have his speech, but nevertheless.
That was the address of the AIO President, Mrs. Delphine Traore-Chief. And quickly, before the Minister of Finance comes on.
Good morning, Madam.
Good morning, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the President of AIO that is ably represented today by the Vice President, Mr. Tope Smart, distinguished and honorable members of the National Assembly, honorable ministers, Nigeria's Commissioner of Insurance, Mr. Sunday Thomas, Commissioners of Insurance and heads of regulatory authorities in the African continent, members of the Executive Committee of the AIO, Secretary General of the AIO, leaders of the insurance industry, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a privilege for me to welcome you to Nigeria on behalf of the government and the people of Nigeria on the occasion of the 47th AIO Conference and General Assembly. It is gratifying to note that the local organizing committee adopted a hybrid approach to overcome the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic to the hosting of this conference and General Assembly at this time. Permit me to commend the founding fathers of the African Insurance Organization for establishing an organization that symbolizes unity of the African insurance industry. This is remarkable, considering that such an august platform affords practitioners across the continent a means to work together towards the African integration agenda. The theme of this conference, Rebuilding Africa's Economy, the Insurance Perspective, is a very pertinent one, considering that it focuses on the attention of the insurance practitioners and stakeholders of the African insurance industry on how best to address shortcomings in operational modalities of the African insurance industry. This will reposition the industry to contribute to efforts at rebuilding the economies of the African continent. The African insurance industry must also improve on its relevance to national development through the designing and offering of targeted products that will meet the needs of the population. The full deployment of macro-insurance and takaful products for the low-income and segment of the society should be looked at very seriously. This is one of the areas that the industry could make the greatest positive impact on the government's policies and on the quality of the African people. It is also believed that reforming the African insurance industry, incentivizing innovative practices, investing in digitalization of our processes, and leveraging on the information and technology will not only enhance and offer suitable insurance products to the nooks and crannies of Africa, but also improve service delivery and position the industry to complement the various efforts to rebuild the African economy. The industry must therefore rise to the challenges of providing more innovative products to protect and incentivize innovation. This is because these initiatives are capable of transforming the narrative of inappropriate claims management practices to one that elicits the positive public perception of the insurance industry. Let me quickly add that while practitioners in the African insurance industry must explore the opportunities brought about by increased reliance on information technology, practitioners cannot afford to be unmindful of the attendant risks resulting from such innovations, and also the heightened cybersecurity, ransomware, and other disruptive effects on the conventional insurance business models, as well as the emerging risks such as climate risk, among others, that must be kept in view. It is also important for the industry in Africa to move beyond its traditional safe zones and strengthen its existing pool in order to support productive investments and help to mitigate emergent risks that are identified with cyber risk, climate change risk, and other natural and even man-made disasters. It is also imperative for the African insurance industry to focus on developing a more competitive environment under the auspices of the African Continental Free Trade Area in order to create a dynamic and vibrant African insurance industry, as it assures movement of goods and services within member countries from one country to another. The federal government of Nigeria understands that no country or industry exists in a vacuum. That is why our response in Nigeria has always been to make Africa the centerpiece of our foreign policy, hinged on continuous cooperation among the African countries, coupled with the responsible economic management and comprehensive reform. Every segment of the African economy, including the insurance industry, and everyone in this conference is part of the efforts to rebuild the African economy. The focus of the deliberations at this conference must therefore take cognizance of the collective aspirations of the African continent. At the end of this General Assembly, it is expected that participants will come up with fresh ideas, new solutions that will facilitate revival of the African economy. I thank you very much, Your Excellency, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your kind attention.
That was the Minister of Finance, Honorable Minister for Finance, Budget and National Planning of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dr. Mrs. Zainab Samshuna Ahmed. And at a moment from now, we shall be having the special guest of honor, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, to formally declare the conference and National Assembly open. And quickly, before that, let us know about the insurance company in Nigeria.
I'd like to invite the formal opening of the Conference and General Assembly, a special guest of honor, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, as he addresses us.
Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, members of the National Assembly, Honorable Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, President of African Insurance Organization, Chairman of the Local Organizing Committee of African Insurance Organization Conference and the Annual General Assembly, Senior Government Officials, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the government and people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I am delighted to warmly welcome you to the 47th African Insurance Organization Conference and Annual General Assembly holding here in Lagos, Nigeria. We are aware that the African Insurance Organization Conference and Annual General Meeting is rotated amongst member states in order to provide a forum for exchange of information and strategies on market development while promoting regional knowledge and integration. We received the news of the decision of the Executive Committee of the African Insurance Organization granting Nigeria the hosting rights of this 47th edition of the African Insurance Organization Conference with pleasure. As a country, we were confident in our ability to deliver the best conference ever in the year 2020 before the outbreak of coronavirus pandemic. No doubt, the coronavirus pandemic presented a global challenge which led to the lockdown of many countries, travel restrictions, and issuance of many health protocols. These challenges affected all human, social, and economic interactions that could have made the hosting of the conference impossible last year. Coronavirus is still a serious challenge in many countries across the globe. However, adequate protocols have been put in place to curb its spread, and vaccination is in progress. We understand as a government and nation the need to frontally tackle some of the disruption to our social, economic, and health occasioned by the pandemic by putting in place sufficient measures that allow the system to function. I once again use this opportunity to commend the Nigerian insurance industry for identifying with the government through the provision of life insurance set of packages for frontline medical and paramedical personnel in the course of this fight. Your support and solidarity in these times is highly appreciated. The theme of your conference is very apt and well thought out: rebuilding Africa's economy and insurance perspective. It is looking at the reality of the moment, as many governments are trying to devise ingenious ways of managing their economy in the aftermath of the pandemic. The pandemic has indeed changed many perspectives that have forced leaders across the globe to think in which I strongly believe the insurance industry has a vital role to play. We have put in so much ensuring that Nigeria diversifies its economy into all non-oil revenue sources and insurance sector. And insurance sector is one of such sectors that being encouraged to develop and bring us the necessary stability, economic sustainability, revenue generation, job creation, and financial inclusiveness. There is a great future for the insurance industry in Africa. We only need to put the right mechanism in place for it to thrive. I assure you that this administration has and will continue to support insurance growth in Nigeria and Africa at large. I commend the leadership of the African Insurance Organization for the resilience, foresight, and perseverance in ensuring that the African insurance market thrives to meet its expectations in the global market, notwithstanding the prevailing challenges. Let me also thank the organizing committee for successfully putting this conference together at a time like this and choosing the theme around rebuilding Africa's economy. All the subtopics listed for discussions are germane and critical in helping Nigeria and indeed Africa rebuild and arise from the effect of coronavirus. We will follow your deliberations with keen interest and look forward to studying results of your deliberations. It is my belief that participants will enjoy their stay in Nigeria and go back to their respective destinations with very fond memories of their visit and tell stories of the beauty and warm hospitality of the Nigerian. And I wish you all fruitful deliberations and a truly worthwhile conference. Thank you.
That was the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, formally declaring the 47th AIO Conference and Annual General Assembly open. And let me just quickly reiterate what Mr. President said. He expects them to put the right mechanism in place for insurance industry to thrive. He commended their foresight to meet expectations in the global market, and he's looking forward to results of deliberations from this 47th Conference and General Assembly meeting.
Thank you very much.
And that concludes the opening ceremony of the 47th AIO conference holding in Nigeria, Lagos to be precise. And just before we wrap it up, let us know that Nigerian insurance industry has grown steadily, and it can be seen in the volume of our premiums, which has continually grown, and it has foreign investors have shown great interest in the Nigerian insurance sector through investment in the market. Well, this is a one-week deliberation of the Africa Insurance Organization, and their deliberations is expected to rebuild Africa's economy through an insurance perspective. And that's how it's been on the outside broadcasts of the Nigerian Television Authority. I am Adeola Komiakere on behalf of the broadcast crew, thanking you for joining us.
The Honorable Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning,
There is a lot of fake news and report circulating, especially on social media, on the coronavirus. Do not believe or partake in the spread of these fake reports. If it is not on the official website or news from the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, disregard such report. Only together can we beat this virus. Only together can we overcome this pandemic. Follow the instructions and guidelines provided to combat this virus. Most importantly, stay at home. Self-isolate, regardless of your status. The virus doesn't move unless we move. Let us work together to better Nigeria. Together, we can do this. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
Hello and welcome. It's time for another interesting package of
Everything Music.
Angelina, you dey cool in my temperature. If you call, I go come deliver.
This is Talking Movies.
In times of old, the world was full of wonder.
No! Stop it! Welcoming you to your weekend for today.
Arise, O compatriots. It's time to use our voice.
Beyond Six Packs.
Bills.
Me and my parties.
London for what?
London for medicine.
Medicine for what?
Medicine for coffee.
Are you sickness?
To our illness. Welcome to Gist Zone.
All right, my name is the Eselucien Wego One. Ona nyokoko no.
Aquaculture as a world emergent industry and one of the fastest growing food production subsector in the world. And due to the apparently declining global fish catch, aquaculture is crucial for food security and nutrition for a rapidly growing global population in the nearest future. Approximately 200 million people around the world are involved in fishing and aquaculture, one way or the other, with efforts to provide around 100 million tons of fish every year. This will mean an average consumption of 16 kilos per person, but in many places where fish is the principal source of animal protein, average consumption is far higher. Much of the bountiful harvest is produced not just by large industrial operators, but by local small and medium-scale producers. And do you know that half the fish supplied to world markets come from developing countries? In Africa, Latin America, and Asia, Africa is blessed with abundant resources, human and natural, that are only now being properly tapped and harnessed. The success story of aquaculture abound in Nigeria, Ghana, and Malawi. And we bring the focus of the world onto glaring cases in Nigeria, which is the Ijebu-Iriwe Fish Farm village in Ijebu-Ode, which rears the African catfish.
There is no end to knowledge, and the industry too, there is still room for them to learn more. So mountain training and training and retraining is also a key to enhance productivity.
Iriwe Farms has gained international recognition from bodies like FAO of the United Nations, DFID, JICA, UNDP.
On our own part is to source for more fund for them, because really speaking, there is no way you can really grow well in this kind of business without adequacy of resources. Without borrowing, without getting some loans, there is a limit on the growth. With 4,937 pounds, if they have 2 billion, access to 2 billion naira, that may not be even enough as working capital in a year.
We're one of the founders of who started aquaculture in Ghana, Crystal Lake, in collaboration with Water Research Institute. We had to do a trial to assess whether the local species could grow competitively in Ghana. And so this was partly funded by Danida. So we did that, and we established that the local species could grow competitively in Ghana. This is, of course, and taking into consideration how much tilapia is being sold in Ghana. So it proved that aquaculture could be viable in Ghana.
What we are giving out today, because previously, like I told you, you harvest your fish at the end of 6 months, and you may ask yourself, are they being hatched in the cage? But now, farmers who are the customers tells you, look, Mr. Limo, your products are good, your fingerlings are very good. Where is the source? And we tell them the source. And I'm happy because it's a win-win situation. You grow, I grow. So whenever I get the feedback from the customers, it makes me happy. And also, we try to do extension services. All our customers that we supply, we make sure every month we go and check their body weight, help them to calculate the biomass, and advise them on what feed change, what you have to do, what you don't have to do. And I think it's helping the industry a lot.
When I started, hatching and selling fingerlings, I started with 3,000. But right now, I am selling 4 million of fingerlings and 2,000 fry. I went to Nigeria last year. I learned, wow, that was a shock to me, because when I saw the extent and the progress that our fellow Nigerians are doing, when I came back, I said, that is a revolution. The catfish industry in Nigeria is a revolution that is required here in Malawi.
As the global demand increases and more opportunities are created, better and improved nutrition for children with dietary requirements met by the consumption of fish, new job opportunities like feed processing, fish fingerlings, construction of net, and other fish farming related activities to drastically and effectively reduce poverty and also feed growing population.
Of all our enterprise development programs, of all of them, aquaculture is the number one that has helped so many people out of poverty. Because, nobody wants to die inside poverty. Able to tell them, look, there is a way out of this poverty, and they are ready to. And when you get to the side, you now see people who are nowhere before, and today they own houses, they own cars, they have their children in good schools, they can eat well and all that.
My name is Sunday Oye. The business is okay because for what we are doing, I have a wife and 4 kids, and I'm living well with my kid with the business because what we are making per week is okay for me and my family.
The success recorded in the recent past years, which is already attracting investors, more national and international investors are invited to come and invest and partake of the riches of investing in aquaculture.
Understanding the universal language and timeless qualities that every great art piece exudes is a quest for many. Art is a means of communication, a symbol of humanity, depicting aesthetics in various forms. Art connotes strength and visibility as a way of preserving heritage, promoting culture, and painting pictures of our daily realities. This young artist examines tales of the eyes, mind, and body through his works.
My work is more of the real life and of ordinary Nigerians, the women, the children. It's not a painful art, it's just their joys, their moments of doubt, their moments of sorrows too. I draw with raw charcoal on cloth. I just burn them and just make the charcoal.
A combination of brevity with comprehensive suggestiveness that appeals to one's sensibility. One cannot ignore the depth each art piece possesses. But how well do people appreciate and understand these artworks?
You can see they are about to cross the road. So I saw the painting that you look before you leap. The child at the mother's back is relaxed. That means she trusted the mother so much that she is capable of protecting her from any danger.
When I look at that painting or this one, it tells me something, and I'm able to understand the strength of a woman. And looking at this painting, I could easily relate with the average Nsukka woman. I'm from Nsukka. That's the strength of the Nsukka woman.
I like the media charcoal work. I've used it before. And I like the way he's using it in his pictures to create definition, to show light and shadow. Yeah. So particularly I like this artwork because of the theme, showing independence, and because I like being an independent woman, and I believe every woman should be independent and they can be able to do anything that they desire to do.
One or two things that I pick here is that it teaches us about what are we proposing in the narrative structures. Look at the woman in the there is showing that, okay, you can better yourself where you are, not necessarily when you move to cities. So people in the rural area, they too, if you are content with what you have.
Every art piece speaks to the soul, with its peculiar references to details, although we may sometimes get lost while trying to understand its central message, and this can only be related by the artist.
This is one of my favorite pieces. The piece is actually recent. I title the work The Gaze. For some reason, something captures their attention, and whatever they are looking at, it's not making them sad, it's not making them happy. Children actually look up to their parents to see whatever they are doing. And there's this saying that history repeats itself. And so I try to use this piece to show a girl, to show the world whom she is in the light of day. And I used it to apply to relationships between people, to apply to marriages. I see openness and transparency as one of the strong keys to a successful, cordial relationship.
Every artist has a unique approach and diversity to its interpretation. However, despite its broad approach to our daily realities, art appreciation and collection still poses a major challenge in this part of the world.
Promoting art in primary schools especially, we try to encourage children from the beginning, the primary schools, the importance of arts. They will understand that it's also a profession that somebody can easily really enjoy and, express themselves through.
I think art gives a lot of story about a country or people or a nation, and we should always preserve artwork, because it will be used in future generations to tell a story of the past.
We don't really blame those that don't appreciate art. You have to have conquered, food as a problem to be able to appreciate things like luxurious things. Most of us, we live a life of survival. It starts from building ourselves as a nation first before we can actually appreciate art.
Art is no doubt a benchmark for nation building, a great assurance to sustainable growth, especially with the strings of creative expressions all around the country. If only we can look within and let every art piece we set our eyes on speak to our minds and body, then art appreciation will become more valuable.
Sitting is a natural thing to do as humans on a daily basis, whether in the office, at our various businesses, or while commuting from one point to another.
I sit 2 or 3 hours in my office, depending on the job I have on my table.
I do resume work by 9 o'clock, so 9 till 3. You be sitting, either you do one patient job to another because we make dentures.
Sometimes when you're in the court, the court starts by 9, and sometimes the session takes up to 3 hours or 4 hours, and you sit through.
During the course of a day's activity, sitting is a must. While sitting itself is not bad, prolonged sitting, experts says, can shorten one's lifespan.
Sitting down makes you sedentary. When you're sedentary, that means that there's very little motion. You may say, after all, you're moving your hands and all that, but the human system is such that movement is supposed to circulate around all parts of the body, the blood system. And so when you are seated for too long, that motion, that circulation of blood is slow. And as it slows, it affects other functions of the body. Your brain, because the blood supply to your head is reduced. You even hear about people stroking in the office. They were seated and they just wanted to stand up and they stroke because blood hasn't circulated sufficiently to the brain. It brings about cramps, arthritis, diabetes, even hypertension. And recently, to our surprise, it brings about mental problems. Because somebody that is sedentary, or you're on the computer, and you don't socialize, you become antisocial, so you're psychologically affected. So, I mean, the hazards of prolonged sitting cannot be overemphasized. Besides exercising at home before getting to work, while at work, I try, like I said, to be up every 45 minutes. If you look to the left side of my office there, you can see that my intercom, which is supposed to be in most organizations, people have it on their table, on their desk. I don't have mine on my desk, not because I wouldn't want to, but it forces me each time it rings to stand up. If you look around my mobile devices, my telephones, my iPad, you won't find them on my table, except I'm taking a call or maybe attending to a message. Each time it calls for attention, I have to stand up.
Prolonged sitting, especially in a wrong position, can also lead to brain damage, strained neck, back problems, muscle degeneration, hip problems, leg disorder, amongst others.
Well, currently, I try not to exceed 45 minutes. Why? Yeah, because I discovered in the past that prolonged sitting was not very good for my health. You know, besides what we read and what our doctors tell us, I discovered that one, my belly was becoming distended, you know, kind of bloated, and I wasn't feeling generally well. You know, at the end of the day, I'll feel fatigued, I'll have leg cramps, and my brain wasn't really, I wasn't alert. You know, but when I now went into a little research with medical advice and adjusted my schedule in such a way that I'm not sedentary for more than 45 minutes. When I mean sedentary, I mean seated. So I ensure that I am up maximum of every 45 minutes.
I don't think that this conventional idea of going up and down, doing what you ought to do, stresses one so much. I think sitting down so much can stress one. God gave us all these, you know, legs, hands, and all that to enable us move about, you know, and not to stand or sit still.
It is a desire of everyone to live a healthy and qualitative life. So, if you want to live longer, remember that prolonged sitting is not a status symbol, but a harmful habit.
Welcome to Abuja, the place that unites Nigeria.
Hello, here is the news update on the top of the hour. I am Nolene Ebel Ame. The Nigerian government is saddened by the apparent coup d'etat that has taken place in the Republic of Guinea in clear violation of the ECOWAS Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance. The government of Nigeria strongly condemns and rejects any unconstitutional change of government, therefore calls on those behind this coup to restore constitutional order without delay and protect all lives and property. Federal government is establishing a farm estate in Borno State, northeast Nigeria, to engage 4,000 youth at a time. The initiative is projected to contribute largely to the social and economic development of the state.
People in this area have completely lost their means of livelihood. Having these projects in Borno State will ensure that many of our youths will be employed. And then employment is something very important because one of the root causes of the insurgency is unemployment. It will address the issues of unemployment.
459 new cases of COVID-19 and 30 deaths have been recorded in the country within the last 24 hours. This brings Nigeria's COVID-19 caseload to 195,511. Statistics from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) indicates that Lagos has 185 of the new cases. Abia and Oyo recorded 38. Akwa Ibom and Cross River 33, Osun 24, Ekiti 23, Benue 15, Kwara 14, and Kano 12 new cases. Delta and the FCT recorded 10 new cases each, Edo 9, Kaduna 5, Ogun 3, Katsina, Nasarawa and Rivers recorded 2 cases each, while Bayelsa has just a case this time around. 184,529 treated cases have been discharged, while the death toll is now 2,552. That's the news update at this time. Join us at 1 p.m. for another update.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Hello and welcome. This is Property and Style, your one-stop shop on everything real estate. Property and Style is a program that has been designed to ensure you are empowered about everything that has to do with the built environment. It is coming to you from the network service of the NTA. My name is Patience Eloy Abba. Thank you for keeping a date with us. Welcome back. On today's episode of Property and Style, we're bringing you a very special event that took place recently. We always tell you if it's happening around the built environment, we're there to bring it to you live. And of course, again, we're taking a look at a very special room in the house. You want to know what that room is? You stay tuned. We're bringing that to you and a whole lot more. Don't go away.
Question of the day.
The quest for bridging the Nigerian huge housing deficit through provision of affordable housing continues. Family Homes Funds Limited, in partnership with Borno State Government, led by Professor Babagana Zulum, financed the provision of 300 housing units of 2-bedroom semi-detached bungalows for the previously internally displaced person and low-income earners in the state. The housing units were commissioned on the 6th of August 2021 in Ngandu Town, Kaga Local Government of Borno State. In his welcome address, the Executive Governor of the state, His Excellency Professor Babagana Zulum, expressed utmost delight as he appreciated the healthy relationship between his government and the management of Family Homes Fund Limited.
We are delighted to be here this afternoon for the purpose of commissioning 300 low-cost houses which were built by the Ministry of Reconstruction, Rehabilitation and Resettlement with the support of the family homes. It could be recalled that about 2 years ago, Borno State government have signed an agreement with the family homes for the provision of 3,200 low-cost houses in Borno State. Funds were received as loan from the Nigerian family homes, and so far so good. We have started the repayment. And very soon, the MD has also promised the government and people of Borno State that we shall soon witness the beginning of the construction of additional 1,000 houses to be provided to our low-income earners, especially the civil servants. On behalf of the government and people of Borno State, we want to express our sincere appreciation to the Family Homes Limited for these very important contributions that they did towards uplifting the standard of living of the displaced communities of Borno State. Inshallah, in the next 1 year, we shall ensure that the remaining houses are completed. Government of Borno State and distinguished leadership will do everything possible to ensure that these houses are allocated to the most vulnerable in our own society.
The Managing Director of Family Homes Fund, Mr. Femi Adewale, reaffirmed his institution's commitment towards improving the lives of Nigerians through affordable housing.
Your Excellency, I am delighted that the promise of delivering housing for some of the most vulnerable people in our nation that you made a year ago you have fulfilled. And it is our privilege, Your Excellency, to partner with you. We are delighted about the innovation that you have brought and the efficiency that you have brought in delivering these homes. And I want to assure you of a continued partnership with the Family Homes Funds. Firstly, Your Excellency, within the next 3 months, we expect to sign up with you a further 1,000 homes on the social housing program that will ensure that people who are on low income in Borno State have an additional 1,000 homes in which they can raise their family. And on the back of this program, Your Excellency, we are welcome to consider a further expansion of the current program because you have delivered. Your Excellency, we look forward to partnership with you, and I want to thank all of the people of Borno State for the opportunity to work with you. Thank you very much.
A kitchen is a room or a part of a room used for cooking and food preparation in a dwelling or a commercial establishment. A modern middle-class residential kitchen is typically equipped with a stove, a sink with the hot and cold water running, a refrigerator, worktops, and kitchen cabinets arranged according to modular designs. Many households have microwave oven, a dishwasher, and other electrical appliances. The main function of a kitchen is to store, prepare, and cook food. The room or area may also be used for dining, entertainment, and laundry. In Nigeria, from the local traditional village kitchen to the modern high-tech kitchen, its furniture depends on its functionality. In modern houses, a kitchen is always located next to the dining area or sometimes roomed together. Whatever type, size, or design of a kitchen, its main aim is to cater for one of man's basic needs, which is food.
A kitchen is a room in a building where food is stored, prepared, and cooked. And sometimes, basically, the kitchen is about the busiest place you have in a house, especially a residential apartment, even for a hotel, really. Wherever you find a kitchen, it's usually the most, or rather the busiest space you have in that building, because that is where what you would eat is stored, it's prepared, that's washed for your vegetables where you cut them, and then final cooking point. And with the dynamism of design, you find these days people have larger kitchens such that they have what you call a kitchen island, where you can find people arranging some seats where it can serve as a dining as well. So you find kitchens even incorporating dining facilities such that a family can bond together. It's compact. You sit together, you have a quick breakfast before the students dash off for school in the mornings. So those are the dynamisms that is taking place in architectural designs in recent years. Basically, because it's a function-specific space, just like most other spaces in a building. Major factors you consider when designing a kitchen relate to the task you will be carrying out in that place. You look at the work triangle. Basically, that has been the concept for designing functional kitchens. Though the design is dynamic, but basically you look at your point of storage, your cold store, which is the refrigerator. You look at your sink, which is your preparation point, and then your cooking point, which is your cooker point or stove point. So you look at the distances between those points. There are minimum and maximum dimensions, which should not be it should not be too little or too much when designing a kitchen. You look at the minimum distance, it should not be less than 1.2 meters from each of those points. Say from your refrigerator to your sink, it should not be less than 1.2 meters, and it should not be greater than 2.7 meters. So in all, you consider functionality, because when those dimensions are too little, you find a cramped space in your kitchen, and you will not be able to carry out effectively what you are supposed to do there, which is to cook and prepare your food. When the distances are too far apart between any of those 3 points, you find that travel distance while you are taking from one task to the next task will become cumbersome, and you waste time preparing your food. Broadly, say kitchens could be of 2 types. The residential kitchens, which you find in normal households where people live, and then the industrial or commercial kitchens that you find in big places like maybe hotels or these outdoor restaurants or eateries. So those are the kind of kitchens, types of kitchen. Okay. Broadly, you could describe kitchens as being of those 2 types. What you are calling a bachelor's apartment could be called a studio apartment, where you find various tasks or functions flowing into each other in one space. probably just demarcated by furniture or small household items. Now, when you have that kind of space, obviously you cannot satisfy all the rules in designing the kitchen, as I mentioned earlier, in terms of travel distance and all of that, because you are going to be restricted probably to one single wall where you have to put a linear arrangement where you have your refrigerator, your sink, and your cooker on one wall. So basically the idea in that, that kind of apartment is to minimize inconvenience from the cooking activity affecting the other functions like the living area or the sleeping area. So you try to make it as compact as possible and a bit protected, maybe with a dwarf wall from the other parts of the studio apartment.
NTA Properties Investment Company Limited, a subsidiary of the Nigerian Television Authority, specializes in creating comfort in all areas of life, such as real estate investments, that is, land, houses, and office spaces, mass leasing, savings and loan scheme, and so much more. Other information and entertainment services include Property in Style, a TV program that airs on the network service of the NTA, and also Property Connect, a nationwide magazine. Our priority is to bridge poverty gaps and sustain quality welfare of our clients. Partner with us and watch us help you grow. Pay us a visit today at the NTA headquarters permanent site, Area 11 Gariki, Abuja, or our Lagos office at number 15 Awolowo Road, Ikoyi, Lagos. For more information, visit our website on www.ntaproperties.com.ng, or you can email us on ntapeak2000@yahoo.com. Call us on 080-6641-7900. NTA Properties Investment Company Limited, the much needed help at your doorstep.
No, I haven't, but I have been around where people actually cook with firewood and everybody, all the women come together, they gist, you peel the beans or you peel the egusi, you wash the yam, you know. It's interesting when you have everybody come around and do that stuff. Well, everybody and their take. If you say modern kitchen, that's for a personal person. Like myself, I like modern kitchen, but the old kitchen brings everybody together, brings family together, unites the family, unites people, unites friends. So they have their own advantages and, you know, disadvantages. An advantage of the traditional cooking, like I said earlier before, it unites people. It brings family together. Well, the smell of a traditional kitchen is quite different from that of a modern kitchen. You get the real deal from the traditional kitchen, and you don't get the real deal from the gas-cooked food, you know. Because those of us who have eye problems will not be able to go under the smoke, so that's a disadvantage, you know. And then the smell all over your body, that's another disadvantage. But the food, the taste of what comes out of that smoke is dicey. Design my ideal modern kitchen. Okay, my kitchen should have 2 sinks, yeah, and then a middle decks where you can have friends, you know, talk and cook, or your husband talking and cooking. He could be washing the dishes for you. Maybe an AC, a heater. Of course, hot water is usually needed in the kitchen. So definitely, that's my ideal kitchen. Then we have all the cabinets around. Then we have the shelf for wine. That's good for men.
Oh, nice.
It's the living room for me. I'm a guy. That's what the home entertainment is. I get to watch TV, I get to play music. I love music a lot, so that's really why. I think music is more the reason than the TV, but it's living room because the entertainment section for me, that's it. Well, the kitchen is important. I actually go to the kitchen first in the morning before anywhere. I'm an early riser and I get to eat very early in the morning, so I go to the kitchen a lot. I prefer the modern size kitchen for two reasons. Number one, a modern kitchen is supposed to be smoke-free. Smoke is not so good. Although I like the smoke flavor in firewood cooking, but these days it's now available. That smoky flavor is available in seasoning, so you can just add it to something cooked in the kitchen. So a modern kitchen is better for me because it's smoke-free mainly. You come out without stains. Two, some modern kitchens have AC, so I can as well skip the sweat. How do I cook? I can cook, yeah. I'm big on the sink because I think that's where a lot of dirty things get dumped. So first of all, I may have to ensure that the plumbing is qualitative so it doesn't get blocked, so that the tap is running. Those are very important for me. If possible to have 3 sinks. I don't like to wash plates early, so I can just keep them one and leave 2 clean. Yeah, that's important for me. But then the cooking section, hot plates or gas, and then a lot of storage compartments. I'm particular about storage. I like when the kitchen is tidy. So even if you have a lot of stuff, tuck them away. Keep it as clean as possible, minimalistic. So for me, so it's the plumbing, the water system, the cooking system, and storage in that order. Plumbing first, plumbing, water, storage, that's it.
The local kitchen is better when you are preparing in a large quantity because it's faster, but when it's in a small family, or a family, very small people you want to serve them, it's faster on the gas and it gives the same taste. Yeah. The local kitchen, it's more taxing because the firewood, you must be there to be bringing it together. If not, your food will not cook. But the modern kitchen, once it's on, it is on till you're done, you switch off your gas. So it's decent, in as much as our parents, they use it, that doesn't mean that we will use it because we are trying to grow.
Are you a landlord, a tenant, or an agent? Are you a real estate developer or interested in housing investments? Then this is the right platform designed specially for you to promote your business and services. To learn more about property investments, tune in on this station every Monday at 11 a.m. If you've got questions, we have answers. For further inquiries, please call us
080-6641-7900.
or you can send us an email at propertyandstyle@gmail.com or visit our website at www.ntaproperties.com.ng. Property and Style, the future is now. And the answers.
This is where we end today's episode of Property and Style. Until we come your way again, continue to do good and God bless Nigeria. My name is Patience Eloy Eba. Goodbye.
There's a lot of fake news and report circulating, especially on social media, on the coronavirus. Do not believe or partake in the spread of these fake reports. If it is not on the official website or news from the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, disregard such report. Only together can we beat this virus. Only together can we overcome this pandemic. Follow the instructions and guidelines provided to combat this virus. Most importantly, stay at home. Self-isolate, regardless of your status. The virus doesn't move unless we move. Let us work together to better Nigeria. Together, we can do this. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
Hello and welcome. It's time for another interesting package of
Everything Music.
Angelina, you dey cool in my temperature. If you call, I go come deliver.
This is Talking Movies.
In times of old, the world was full of wonder.
No! Stop it! Welcoming you to your weekend for today.
Arise, oh, compatriots. It's time to use our voice.
Beyond Six Packs.
Bills.
Me and my parties.
London for what? London for medicine.
Medicine for what?
Medicine for coffee.
Are you sickness?
To our illness. Welcome to Gist Zone.
All right, my name is the Eselucien Wego One. Ona nyokoko no.
This is the network service of the NTA.
One type of visual art that is natural to integrate with science is photography. Photography is both an art and science. The camera, which creates art, also captures and teaches us scientific understanding. Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Visual Impressions on NTA. I am Umar Mohammed. Now we had a chat with Khalid Al-Ladi, an architect turned into a sought-after photographer. To say he's one of the best we have in Nigeria would not be an exaggeration. His architectural background assisted his unique style of capturing his images. Please, let's all take a look. Once you have the three elements of photography, which are light, subject, and composition, you will be sure to have a perfect picture. A visit to the fascinating studio of Khalid Al-Ladi gave us an insight into mesmerizing images taken by him.
I am the head photographer at Calligraphy Studios. We're a portrait and wedding photography outfit. We absolutely love creating images of beautiful people and their beautiful memories. You know, I've been photographing officially now for 6 years. Unofficially, I'll probably be doing it for twice that time, you know.
Murray is an environmental engineer and a photographer who naturally gets fascinated by her environment. She is not your regular fancy photographer. She takes pictures of ills in the society and also an eco-friendly, enthusiast photographer.
I have a love for the environment, and in everything I do, I'm always thinking about the environment. When I moved to Abuja, I joined the hiking group, and it was fascinating being in nature. As I said, someone that grew up in Lagos is basically an urban jungle, concrete everywhere. So being in nature, being in the hills, the quiet, the stillness, seeing trees that I didn't see growing up, it was very fascinating. But with the environmental side, I also saw a lot of waste around. But also that love for nature, um, it brought out that instinct in me to want to capture the moment. So that's how I got started with photography.
Ever since I was a child, I've always done one or two creative things. I mean, you ask a child what they want to be, and you get the popular, I want to be a doctor, I want to be, some want to be police officers or whatnot. I always wanted to be an architect. I never wanted, I never wavered. It wasn't like if you met me 3 years down the line, I would say something else. I always only wanted to be an architect. So I went to school, I studied at ABU, Ahmed Bello University Zaria. I got my degree in architecture. But then photography, it was actually people that started telling me, you take good pictures, right? Like I would hang out with friends and, somebody bring out their phone and I'll notice that most of the time I'll be the one that they'll give the phone like, please help us take this picture. Please help us take this picture. At first you're annoyed by it, like, why don't you guys want me in the picture, But I realized it was because they thought I took better pictures than them. Now, I did that for a few years, just playing around with my phone. I would walk out and take pictures of sunrise or wait in the evening and shoot sunset and stuff with my phone. The sort of voices that kept saying, you should buy a camera, you should buy a camera, just became too much that at some point I knew there wasn't any turning back from it. I eventually bought a camera. It was in 2015, I was traveling to Benin Kebbi for the first time. I had never been that far and I was excited about the trip. This wouldn't be a bad time at all to buy a camera. You never know what you would see along the road and what you could photograph. And I'm glad that I made the decision to buy my first camera for that trip because it's a very scenic sort of journey, There are lots of times that I would stop the car. Please, you guys, just give me 5 minutes. Let me take pictures of, some of the things I was seeing was fantastic. Now, within 2 months of buying a camera, I had already shot my first wedding.
I look out for almost anything any real photographer will tell you. Basically having an eye for the scene, the composition, looking for interesting angles to highlight things. You could go lower to give you a really beautiful shot of how majestic a tree is looking, or the fruits that are on the tree, going closer and looking at it. So basically anything interesting, anything fascinating, looking for pops of color, looking for drama. That's what we look for when we're taking pictures in nature. There is a place called Crush Rock here in Abuja. It's a very beautiful, almost natural space. And I'm sure lots of people have seen lots of beautiful pictures of it, of which I too took beautiful pictures of the place. But With photography, you can choose to focus on the good or you can choose to focus on the bad. And everybody was focusing on the good, but I chose to take pictures that will highlight how much of an impact we have on that space. So it's kind of like the chosen genre of what I do in my photography, to expose the environmental side of things, showing the waste that we left behind, how we're marring nature. During the cleaning of Crush Rock, pictures were put out there of beautiful scenes, but pictures were also put out there of all the dirt that was left behind. I was documented over some weeks. I was one of the first people to actually put the pictures out there about how polluted the place was. And through that, it was able to motivate some action. A group of individuals, we all came together over Twitter, we formed a group, and we went and we cleaned up the place as much as we could. But it wasn't just us, a lot of other people were moved as well. So there's a lot of power in marrying these two passions of mine between photography and the environment.
Subject. I'll probably say the subject that I'm most driven to is not a physical attribute, it's a feeling, right? It's emotion. That's what I look for when I'm about to photograph somebody or when I'm photographing somebody. I can't remember who said it, but a photographer once said, do not shoot what it looks like, shoot what it feels like, right? So, and I've tried to mold my career, I'm saying I'm molding my career, around a quote, and I can't remember who the photographer was that said it, but yeah, basically, I look for what it feels like, so the emotions. So if I'm photographing somebody and it's their birthday, birthdays tend to be lively, happy, so my pictures should show that.
While on assignment all over the country, Khalid has taken some amazing portraits using his unique approach of architectural composition.
It's interesting, right? Because when I'm behind the camera, when I'm the one taking pictures of somebody or shooting video of them, you tend to have to watch your subject very closely, right? How are they sitting? Are their hand gestures right? Are they smiling? Are they slanting? Do they look nervous? Because, for example, like nerves show in the hands, people tend to do stuff like this when they're nervous, So you're always watching out for some of those things. So whenever the camera turns onto you, you're conscious of what the person behind the camera might be looking out for. So you're trying to make sure that you're not, I don't want to say making those mistakes, but not giving off those signals. So it feels like somebody is, using X-ray vision or something to look through. But so it's a bit uncomfortable, but I'm sure I'll adjust.
We trek for hours to get to the middle of nowhere where we can't hear anything, where we believe few humans have been there before, but we still see their impact. We see waste and bottles and everything in the middle of nowhere. There's no one to clean up after them. So that inspired me to actually get my company started and start projects to clean up the hills, especially here in Abuja.
A professional photographer is somebody who has experience, right? Your gear does not make you a professional. A professional photographer must be experienced, must be somebody who has been in all sorts of situations and made mistakes and learned from them, right? A professional photographer has shot under the sun, in the shade, where there are indoors, where there is light, where there is no light, when it's raining, when it's not raining, when they have external lights when they don't have external lights. They've been in situations where they were photographing somebody and the memory card got corrupted and they needed to find a solution quickly, right? A professional photographer has a process. You know that this is my project. This is the preparation that this project needs. This is how I'm going to execute. This is how I'm going to deliver, right? You have an understanding of process. So there's experience, there's process. Then there is equipment, right? Because they are professional grade equipment. Stuff usually more expensive, right? Rightfully so, than your normal everyday stuff, because it's expected that for you to be buying this, you already are in the field. You already make money, hopefully, from what you're doing, so you can afford, these things, the gear that you need, right? Being paid for your work also it's part of one of the things that makes you a professional, because you can have experience and have process and have gear. If you're not being financially compensated for the work that you do, then I'm not so sure. Then you're just an enthusiast. There are lots of things that a professional photographer sees that somebody with that a lot of people with smartphones might not. Professional lighting, professional posing, even simple things like me just looking and knowing that, oh, this is in the right background. Let's move over to this place. Or the best light is coming over from over here. All of those things still have a place. Professional photographers still have a place. And people like quality as well, right? People like quality. I mean, the things that I can create with a 45 megapixel camera and 3-point lighting and with my backdrops and whatnot, you can't achieve with a smartphone. So there's been a huge upturn in smartphones and people buying phones now, and it unfortunately has led to a lot of people believing that they no longer need a studio setting or professional photographer to get their pictures taken, especially for normal day-to-day. Some people take selfies and just post on their birthdays now, like they don't feel the need to go out to a studio. Or even, for example, makeup artists, right? A few years ago, makeup artists will say, hey, photographer, help me take headshots so that I can share those pictures, because they wanted really nice pictures of the work that they had done. But these days now, they have their ring lights and their cell phones, and they don't need the photographer's pictures, like they used to. But having said that, right, professional photography still has its place. People can still tell. Documenting naming ceremonies or weddings, you still can't do those things yet with smartphones, right? So professional photography still has a place. It's here to stay. And in terms of me being unique and why people come to me in particular, I don't know. I would like to think that I have, obviously, good work, right? But I would also like to think that it's the environment. I like to create a fun, a laid back, a very chill environment, and people like that. People come into my studio and they automatically feel at home. People come in and say, I have 15 minutes for this shoot, let's get it over with, and they end up spending 3 hours. I have tea at my studio. I have incense, tulare uta at my studio. So people just come in and just naturally feel at home at my place. So even though I know that I take good pictures, thank God for that, I feel like people still come because of the comfort, the vibe, the ambience that they're able to, experience around here.
I did fall into that trap most people fall into. Like, to get into photography, you need a good camera. And I saved up a lot of money while I was in school, and I bought a camera. And it's been amazing. Like the picture quality, the colors, the vibrancy, it does help. It does add to how good the pictures turn out.
Equipment needed for professional photographer. So let me answer the straightforward. The straightforward answer is obviously you need a camera, you need lenses, right? You need what's called the pro bodies, the professional bodies, where you get faster frames per second, so like you can shoot 10 and above frames per second, so that when you have something, so like you're photographing sport, maybe you're at the Olympics or something, and then Usain Bolt is speeding past, you need your camera to be able to keep up, right? That is different from what would be just a normal consumer or beginner body, which is basically just good enough to photograph still subjects. You need something that has long battery life. You need something that is durable, that is weather sealed, so that if it's raining, if it's snowing, whatever, high temperatures, it works, it functions perfectly. You need lenses that have reach, right? The most typical lenses are short, the focal lengths are short. You need something that is long, say from 200 and above. You know, you need options and lenses. I could go on and on about what you need, the lights and the stands and all of that, but in all honesty, the most important thing that you need is your eyes. Oh wow, in the next 10 years, where do I see calligraphy as a brand in the next 10 years? Photography is one of those fields where we can't even imagine, we can't start to imagine what it will be like in the next 10 years, because with the constant upgrade of technology, right, we have no, I mean, 10 years ago, we didn't have battery powered lights, for example. So everybody had to shoot in the studio with electricity plugged in, right? You didn't find a lot of people just taking pictures randomly on the streets and whatnot with professional lights. But in the last 5 years, it's really become popular. It has really changed the direction of photography, right? So because of technology, you never know. I don't know what I'll be able to create 10 years from now. But in terms of like a business perspective or ambition, I'd like to actually open a chain of studios, right? I would like, as much as I like what I'm doing now, I like my space, I like the sort of control I have over it, I'd like to be able to scale up. You know, we tend to travel a lot for work. I've been everywhere around the country for work, you know, everywhere from Dutse to Asaba, you know, for work. And as much as traveling is fun and you learn all of these new cultures and whatnot, I'd like to think that 10 years from now, I should have an Asaba studio. But with how large the field is becoming now, with the sums that people are able to make now off of photography, the society is becoming more accepting of it now, you know, thanks to people like Bayo Omoborio, for example, who's the president's personal photographer, people like Henry Nweze, popularly known as Big H, who just creates incredible images of, you know, all sorts of people. I mean, people like this are making it so that people almost envy the career path now, as in it's seen as, wow, you get to go to all of these places and create and meet all of these people, and you're able to still make a good living off of it. So a lot of young people are coming in. A lot of young people are more confident now to say, this creative path is what I'm going to.
Pictures celebrate humanity's ability to survive and innovate, and showcases through provoking images that call attention to man's impact and inspire man to live sustainably.
Hi everybody, I'm Khalili Akubu, aka Calligraphy. You are watching Visual Impressions. Please keep it locked.
Now let me tell you an interesting fact when it comes to photography. If you think that amazing photos of cats is a phenomenon that started on the internet, then you are definitely wrong, because English photographer Harry Pointer was the first photographer to start taking pictures of cats in amusing and very, very funny and cute positions during the 1870s. It wasn't long before he realized that he had so much success selling photographs of cats in ridiculous poses than making money from taking pictures of humans. Now, more facts are going to emerge your way if you keep a date with us every week on Mondays on Visual Impressions. I hope to see you again next week. I am Omar Mohammed, and you have a lovely week ahead.
Welcome to Abuja, the place that unites Nigeria.
Technology, the mother of all inventions, has influenced various aspects of human existence that numerous difficulties has been brought to the barest level. Travel as a form of communication has been made simple through the invention of the motor car, which can travel several miles in a very short time. Due to various irregularities on the roads like potholes, careless driving, overspeeding, and a host of others, the chances of motor cars getting involved in accidents cannot be overlooked. As such, devices like the seatbelts and airbags have been made.
Basically, airbags are meant to serve as security for lives and property in our vehicles.
The motor car airbags are safety devices or features designed to protect passengers and drivers in a head-on collision. The question begging for an answer, therefore, is how many car buyers take time to check the cars for airbags when they are purchasing one?
And like we car dealers now, if we are going to buy a car, we're buying the one that has a airbag because people are going through what is raining.
About an airbag in a car, it's supposed to be a supplementary restraint system. It's supposed to be something that helps to assist during the time of an accident, but it only works well once you have a seatbelt across your chest, or else otherwise it can be a dangerous thing in a car.
Airbags act as a cushion for passengers, thus preventing them from hitting the steering column and dashboard, which may lead to head, shoulder, or even chest injuries. The importance of safety devices in a motor car cannot be overemphasized when purchasing a car. Therefore, it is advised to thoroughly check for those devices before purchasing a car.
I never get this kind of thing, or I hear it. Abuja Intraproduce Agency then called me because we are partner with them. They say we should come. There is a survivor fund that the government wanted to give technicians.
They capture everybody, including food seller in my own workshop.
When my chairman called me that there is parity something, that I should come and take my cash off. The money now come, and that money helped me a lot. As a widow, where there is no husband. So it's this thing that I used to help myself, and that money helped me and pay some of my children's school fees.
You don't reach almost 40-something years back where I did for this Nigeria. I never get this kind of thing, or I hear it.
It is only this government, President Muhammadu Buhari, likewise invites that he recognize a mechanic.
Guinean special forces seized power in a coup, arresting the president and promising to change the political makeup of the West African country. Now, the leader announced the nationwide curfew and dissolution of the nation's constitution, as well as shutting down the country's land and air borders. The nation of 13 million people, one of the world's poorest countries we hear, despite boasting significant mineral resources, has long been beset by political instability. On Panorama today, we shall be looking at the consequences of the coup in the country and the continent at large. I'm Ruth Aguele. Welcome. A giant-sized jinx was broken recently when the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) announced a first net profit for the first time in the 44 years history of the organization under President Muhammadu Buhari, who doubles as the Minister of Petroleum Resources. Elizabeth Omori has a compilation of some groundbreaking successes recorded by the administration so far.
The presidency recently outlined some successes recorded by the administration in various sectors as a result of the pragmatic economic reforms it embarked upon. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, says a long-term jinx has been broken with the announcement of a profit of 287 billion naira by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC), also signing into law the Petroleum Industry Bill after almost 2 decades. Amendment of the Deep Offshore and Inland Basin Production Sharing Contracts Act 2019. More than $6 billion of inherited cash call arrears now been cleared. overseeing the first successful marginal fields bid round in almost 20 years, launch of the first National Social Investment Program in the country's history, restoration of the federal budget from a January to December cycle, the assenting to the Nigerian Center for Disease Control NCDC Act, the Police Act 2020, Nigeria Correctional Service Act 2019, and Finance Acts of 2019 and 2020, with the mandate to support federal budgets in specific reform legislation and implementation. Also, enactment of the Suppression of Piracy and Other Maritime Offences Bill 2019, the first of its kind in the entire Gulf of Guinea, dedicated to prosecuting maritime offences. The Police Trust Fund Act 2019, the first overhaul of the Company and Allied Matters Act (CAMA) in 30 years. Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Prohibition Act 2019, expansion of operation of the Treasury Single Account TSA. On projects, completion of the Takbewari Rail Line in 2020, completion of the Abuja-Kaduna, Abuja Metro, Abuja-Warri and Lagos-Ibadan rail lines. Also, completion of the NLNG train project, Train 6, in 2018, and successful flag-off of the Train 7 construction. Apapa Oshodi Oroshoki Expressway currently undergoing full reconstruction. Bodo Boni Bridges and Road construction finally kicked off in 2017. The long-awaited Ogoni cleanup kicked off. The Zik Mausoleum was also completed in 2018.
Minister of Transportation Chibuike Rotimi Amechi has inspected the proposed site for the construction of the Bonny Deep Seaport. The minister carried out the inspection in company of the acting MD, that's the Managing Director, Nigeria Ports Authority, Mohammed Koko, and experts from the Ministry of Transportation and contractors. Joy Uzo reports.
The proposed site for the Bonny Seaport is expected to take about 500 meters of dredging before attaining the target depth of the seaport. During the inspection, the Minister of Transportation, Chibuike Rotimi Amechi, noted that in choosing the site, considerations must be made towards cost reduction and ease in paying compensations. He said while the southeast part of the island was also viable, the most feasible may be the area to the west in Finima, as it would require less dredging. The minister further added that selection of the area when finally decided would ensure that NNPC pipes would not be tampered with or moved for the rail lines extending to the seaport. Managing Director, Nigerian Ports Authority, Mohammed Koko, affirmed that the essence of the inspection was to confirm the right location for the port, adding that final studies will be made and conclusions reached. Construction of the Bonny Seaport will kick off within the year and run concurrently with the construction of the Port Harcourt to Maiduguri rail lines, which also extends to the seaport. In Port Harcourt, Joy Uzo, NTA News.
Now let's turn our attention to the coup in Guinea. Nigeria, of course, has expressed its sadness by the apparent coup that has taken place in the Republic of Guinea, describing the incident as a clear violation of the ECOWAS Protocol on Democracy and Good